Today we're going to talk about possibly the most famous and well-known rhododendron hybrid in the entire country, and this is Rhododendron loderi. Now the name Rhododendron loderi sounds as though it might be a species, but it's not. Rhododendron loderi was a cross between Rhododendron fortunei and Rhododendron, which we originally called Aucklandii, and now we call griffithianum. So in 1901, a man called Loder, Sir Edmund Loder to be precise, at Leonardsley Gardens, he crossed those two species, Rhododendron fortunei and Rhododendron griffithianum, and he produced a whole series of loderi rhododendrons. And today we're going to look at 4 or 5 of them. And all loderi rhododendrons have extraordinary scent. They all are somewhat pink in bud, opening white. They are different, but those characteristics are much the same in the 5 or 6 that we're going to look at today. And this is loderi pink diamond, perhaps not the biggest flower size of all the ones we're going to look at, but a very unmistakably loderi shaped leaf. The flowers are pink in bud and they're opening to a frilly white, in this case with a touch of pink and yellow in the centre. Not quite fully out yet and slightly battered by the bit of rain we had yesterday, but the scent standing here is superb. So perhaps the most famous and most widely grown form of Rhododendron loderi is this one. This is Rhododendron loderi King George, and the king is pretty fully out here, but if you look up above us you see how he is very pink when he first opens, and as you see lower down here the pinkness gradually fades to an absolutely pure white eventually. While King George is doing this, the scent is absolutely overwhelming. And you can see again these very distinctive pointed loderi type leaves and the new growth coming where the flowers are not. This rhododendron has been in flower now for 2 or 3 weeks. It's coming towards the end of its flowering season and the flowers are beginning to drop. But last weekend we had a lecture and a tour looking at scented rhododendrons, and this was what took everybody's breath away and made their noses hurt from the sheer enormity of the scent coming off this plant. And here, just coming out, we've got loderi Pink Topaz, which is rather pinker than loderi Pink Diamond, but there we go. Always recognisable because it has this slightly discoloured leaf, slight yellowness in the leaf, and you see this even in young plants for sale at Burncoos. It looks worse than it is and doesn't seem to make any difference to the plant. And just look how wonderful the flowers are. Here, because it's just coming out, we're seeing far more pink and darker pink. At Leonardsley itself, there exists today an avenue of about 24 different loderi forms, all of which have got names. This is another one of them. As you're beginning to get the idea, there isn't that much difference between them. They're all absolutely fantastic. They're all hugely floriferous and very scented. And here we've got another plant, a small plant which has only been in the ground for a couple of years and flowering for the first time. And this is yet another loderi. This is loderi Pink Coral. Beautiful in its own way, and even with just 2 flowers, very highly scented. So I thought we'd finish by looking at one of the 2 species which was responsible for the creation of all the loderi hybrids we've looked at. And this is Rhododendron griffithianum. It used to be known as Rhododendron aucklandii, but the name got changed a while ago. It's quite a floppy rhododendron. It has huge white flowers, just a hint of pink in the bud. The flowers are not as numerous as they are in loderi, but the scent is amazing, and the peeling bark on the trunk of the rhododendron is quite amazing too. So it was this Rhododendron griffithianum which is crossed with Rhododendron fortunei to create the loder strain of hybrid rhododendrons which we've been looking at today. Rhododendron fortunei is in the main pink, or pinker, certainly a great deal pinker than this, also very floriferous, but it won't be out until probably early to mid-June. So I can't show you that today, but if you can imagine Sir Edmund Loder in 1901 realizing that a cross between this and something pink was going to create a strain of rhododendrons that probably grow in nearly every garden that is big enough to accommodate a rhododendron for scent, then I think he'd have been very pleased, and UK woodland gardens are a great deal improved because of the loderi rhododendrons, which in these next 2 weeks or so are absolutely fantastic.